Literally killing me.
Same thing.
I normally don't have sleep problems. I think comes with certain cases, certain times does, and it lasts a while, but normally I don't have.
Are you a good caffeine person? Bunch of coffee.
So we'll start in about 2 minutes or so, 3 minutes, yeah. We're having dog fights next door today. Yeah. It's a tournament. Lola got kicked out after the first. Yes, last night she lost, yeah. Hey, Rosalind, how are you? Yeah, that's the wheelchair division. Yeah, it's nice. I mean the rocking chairs.
Sooner or later, you're gonna have a few wheelchairs.
Wheelchairs. Medical team. Stretches. Thankfully, no Narcan. We don't need Narcan. That's nice. Yeah. Maybe oxygen.
You got like all the clubs behind the bar.
Yeah, they have to.
No, this is
Yeah.
Every couple of months we have to use it on somebody.
This is a long event of everything being fitted around the problem. This is what it really is. Yeah. It's a long event that everything is fit around the problem. So drug addiction now, they just have Narcan. So people back east, the young kids, part of the getting high now is to overdose and then get brought back by the Narcan. So they've used a solution as part of the problem. This happens constantly, don't you see? You have to admit, in some people's adventure, spiritual seeking, which would be for a solution, is part of the problem. Yeah. Because it reinforces the idea of a long-lasting, independent, separate entity that's seeking for its wholeness or its completeness or whatever, with a vague idea. Hey, come on in. A vague idea that something must have happened that caused us to be in separation or whatever. Yeah. So then the solutions, not addressing it, I didn't recognize you. You got a haircut. Hey, it looks good, bro. So not addressing the problem, the solution gets infected. Yeah. Like this, I was sitting here today and it's sort of, how can you believe that what you're aware of is before the awareness? Yeah. What are you aware of right now? Right where you're sitting. Maybe gurgling in your digestion tract because you had too much of a nice acai bowl. Yeah. And you're wondering if it may want to do a involuntary exit from the lower realm. Yeah. But the whole idea of the head is that which you're aware of is what's aware. How can you, if that landed, why would you move to any other square in the game board? That square just describes all the squares of the game board, doesn't it? How can what you are aware of be that which is aware? Yeah. But the head has you as an aware thing, doesn't it? I mean, how are you remembered? You're not remembered as awareness. You're remembered with a picture, yeah, of a thing, yeah. And the picture of the thing is a unique picture that you call Paul, let's say. So Paul gets matched with memories of what's actually not happened. And then it triggers a vague familiarity, like we breathe. It's almost like a toxic thing we breathe that keeps us in the trance. Yeah, the past, the future. Yeah, yeah. Always pictured. And then when you're dreaming at night, aren't you dreaming of things? The absolute is the non-dreaming of no thing. So the dreaming that we're seemingly involved with at night, aren't things seen? Or do you just look out of a void into a void? That's deep sleep. That's the real rest. But the activity of dreaming is there's things afoot, things are moving, things have done things. Yeah. Things now can fly, things now can, submerge, things can do a lot of stuff. It's almost like a superhero movie. The whole movie dumb is filled with Marvel comic characters. Everyone wants to feel like they're not as bummed out, as boring as they feel. So they go to a movie where a spider kid kicks ass on Sandman or something. I was a Doctor Doom fan myself. They really screwed Doctor Doom as a character, but that's beside the point. So we're sitting here right now. If the inherent problem is mistaking a non-existent thing as an existent thing, then all the solutions that conform to that are a problem, literally. Yes? So a lot of people would think a spiritual path would be about no problem or getting away from problem and now doing things that aren't causing problems, like meditating and being mindful. But it doesn't work a lot of the times because the underlying agenda is reinforcing the idea of the seeker. And the seeker is seen as a thing. Yeah. So we're wishing for an experience of no thing, but we hope other people can see it. You want to see the effects of no thing on the thing. Wow. He looks very spiritual. So it's like the idea of whatever can be perceived cannot be that which is perceiving. So whatever can be aware of is not the awareness of it. Yeah? Are you aware? Are you being aware of right now, Keith? Everyone. Is something sort of tracking you? Yeah? You're aware of something in you that no one else is. Let's say your bowel movement or your digestion or bubble in there. Yeah. Only if it squeezes out as a fart does someone maybe else pay attention. But there you are, very aware of all of this physical functioning. Yeah. Yet the story is we are the awareness as the physical functioning of the awareness of the physical functioning. Wow. That seems rather absurd. Yeah. So how are you going to start? If you start at the problem and it travels as you in all the solutions, isn't that a large problem? If for a second you forgot what you are, and then someone came by and said, hey, being ourselves reality, you forgot what you are for a second. Instead of forgetting what you are for a second, stalks an 80-year idea of Paul living a life and everything. Yeah, a momentary blip. Yeah, that suddenly excludes all of infinity, and now 80 years are emphasized. Yeah. And then it pops as if it never ever happened. Yeah. Did it change anything? Literally. Has Watts been aware of that which can be changed? Has that changed? Has the awareness of that which changes, has that awareness changed? Did it change when you graduated high school? Did it change when you moved from New York to California? Did it change the worst day of your life? Did it change the best day of your life? No, nothing has changed. Yet that nothing has changed is the stage for all of these appearances that come and go. It's amazing. It's amazing that the most important aspect of the play is forgotten, which is the audience, literally, because there is no play unless it's noticed and seen. And what's seeing it isn't you, it's awareness, literally, right? What you're seeing can be changed by putting on a pair of sunglasses. You can change every color. If you get a Ray-Ban, they go towards a yellowish view. You get another one, it gives it a deeper, like greenish thing, whatever. And it looks like it's that easy to change the world just by getting $1 sunglass. Yeah. But what does that which the glasses change, or does the glasses change? That which is underlying the awareness isn't changed by any color change or any shape change or any perceptual change. Yeah, that all happens here. This is sort of like you walk in from space and you walk into a house of mirrors and you look at a mirror and then it distorts everything. Yeah, and then you in one mirror look huge, in another mirror you look small. Yes, da da da. And it's not based on you, it's based on what you're looking at. Yeah, the reflection that's given is seen to be you, and it can be very, very scary because you have an image of you, and the images are being changed by the reflection. The head constantly. The head is reflecting imaginary appearances from nothing that throws a shadow, coming out of nothing. Yeah. And then we start at the something, and then we make nothing like a goal we want to arrive at, or like a void that we believe has an address in Iowa or somewhere. Like there's got to be a place, a thing called the void that I can go to. Yeah. We can't, it's like the hammer sees everything as a nail. The thing that we're listening to, and as an audience has given itself away to, is a very myopic character. Every play, it has the same role, so to speak. Yes? And it's same old, same old. And it gets boring, doesn't it? I think that's why entertainment occurred. We have to be entertained because we're not entertained. It's the same old, same old. As the Course in Miracles described it, the first 6 lessons of the Course in Miracles are explained by the 7th lesson, which is we see only the past. So in recovery, people in addiction, when they come out of addiction, in the AA view, the biggest killer is resentment. Yeah. And if you break down the word it means to do again. And sent comes from sentare or something in Latin, which means to feel. So basically, the killer of us as alcoholics is refeeling. Yeah. Now, the feeling we're refeeling is given a factual existence, but it could be easily made up, and it's been distorted anyway. Yeah. So something happens now where it can only happen. There is no happening in the past or the future. The past and future can happen now, but there is no happening in the past or future. But the past can be a happening now, and the future can be a mental happening now. Yeah. So that activity can be going on. Yeah. But it's captured by nowness. Here and now, nothing ever escapes that gravitational field. Yeah. Here and now. So basically, you're refeeling everything, you're rehashing everything. You're not. If you did, you would be exhausted. Yeah. You're an audience somewhere. You're an awareness that's got stuck in a certain loop, that it's constantly aware of this thing to the point where the awareness is forgotten and now the thing is aware. And when the thing is aware, it wants sleeping pills. Yeah, it wants to take something to not be that much aware. It wants to drink. It wants to forget what it's aware of and how it's aware. It's not comfortable most of the time. Yeah. Literally. I remember when I came into recovery, I got a little wisdom and I said, 1/3 of the day I'm going to be sleeping. So I'm going to get a good bed. Made sense. Yeah. I'm going to spend most of my time out to lunch, 8 hours, hopefully. Basically, I might as well get the best bed I can get. Yeah. And at least get a good sleep. If I'm not having a good day, I can have a good sleep. Because as soon as I woke up, there it went. Yes. The awakeness was there first, and then it showed up, and then I lived as if I was awake. And a lot of the time, I didn't want to be awake. I didn't want to be awake to my past because I'd done terrible things, seemingly. Wanted to forget that shit. I was completely worried about the future because I didn't have a pot to piss in, and I didn't want to look at that. And basically, this now was not seen as an event. It was like I wanted to escape from constantly. That's a weird situation to arrive at, eh? Yeah. But I arrived there as the thing being that which is aware, not the awareness of the thing. Yeah. And I hope this message plays a role in just allowing, because it's not locked in place. It can easily, if there's a pause or like a suspension of consent or whatever, satsang hits you, there'll be a pause and it can go back where the awareness is first and then the things are second, instead of the thing being first and being aware of as an attribute. Yes? Just a little switch, and it makes all the difference in this event. So instead of constantly having a solution that is infected with the problem, you have a solution from that. Yeah. So instead of another way of trying to arrive at liberation, you get relief of the need to be liberated, because you see that which needs to be liberated is not you. You see it very clearly. And that's done. It doesn't come up anymore. It's finito. And then you just have a lot of, it's not like you move like the dresser from one wall to the other wall in the room. It's removed. It's out. That drive to be liberated is completely kaput. It's finished. It has absolutely no marketing value. You just don't fall for any of it. Yeah. And a lot of these things, these imaginary trees that are meant to hide the forest from us, drop. You don't cut them down. They have nothing to stand on. Once your interest and attention as the audience is withdrawn, the production of the play devalues. You can see through what you used to think was opaque. You can see the emperor has no clothes, even while it's constantly changing its costume for the next act. You'll see inherently it has no clothes. Yeah, it's not going to be an experience in the play. If it is, it gets swallowed up by the continuation of the play. It's a recognition of a fact. The emperor has no clothes. It's not like, oh, I had the greatest play of all the plays. I saw the emperor with no clothes, only to have it in full regalia the next act of the play. Yes? As long as the problem is grokking the solution, that's still the problem. Yeah. And in a sense, the problem is the awareness is seen as an attribute instead of ourselves or as what we are. And we now believe a non-existent thing is what's existing, and we still keep believing it. We're going along with it. We're not doing the believing, because it's obvious. When I went up to the funeral for my sister last week, she had been cremated already. But basically, whatever was animating her in this event stopped animating her. And it was obvious that her that was animated was not that which I thought it was. Yes, it's just freaking obvious. And after a while, that becomes a fact. So now you start as being aware of the non-existent thing instead of being aware as the existent thing. You become aware of the non-existent thing instead of your awareness being pinned to the existent thing. Yeah. So the existent thing is living as if it's aware and it's trying to get more aware or radically aware or pure aware. And obviously, it believes the opposite is that it's unaware, it's dirty awareness, it's unpure, and it's not radical. Yes. So it's caught in this dilemma of this or that. So the problem has problem solution. But the real problem is the identification without noticing it from us, the audience, the identification as a non-existent thing, taking itself to be an existent thing. Everything else just spins out from there. Yeah. Now, is it gonna stop the spinning out? Are you gonna have years that will go by in a second? Probably not, but you'll travel lighter through this whole event. And really, what more do you want? Yeah, is traveling lighter because you've realized, some of us extremely, we've realized you can travel really heavy here. You can be, it can be, because there is no hell here. It's subjectiveness. Yeah. The subjective quality of this dreaming can make a hell out of what other people would call heaven. Yes. The subjectiveness overrides the objective reality because there isn't an objective reality. That's why you can take a placebo, which means it has no medical qualities, and get the same amount of relief as you did if you took the pill that you paid $500 for. Because mind is before everything. Yeah. So the subjectiveness, that's why we can't have one answer fits all. Doesn't work. So someone says, oh, I found the most fantastic thing, and it seemingly worked on their conditions, and they try to sell it to everyone else, and it's not going to work in the other people's conditions because the conditions aren't the reality. It's the subjectiveness giving the meaning to the condition, which is the seeming reality here. And if you call this a reality that's forgotten as soon as the minute or second or day passes, well, then you would believe stillness is the opposite or the opposite of being agitated, when stillness isn't the opposite of being agitated. There's a stillness underneath agitation and the stillness of the opposite of agitation. Yes, there's a stillness underlying that doesn't have an opposite. Yeah. So that stillness you get after running like 20 miles is different than the stillness that's available when a pause just triggers a stopping of the head for a second or two. That stillness reverberates forever. The other stillness only lasts for a little while, like our dog. When I take the dog out in the morning, it overdoes it as usual, and then it's panting, unbelievable. Sally looks like it's going to die. Comes in the house, it's going so fast, the tongue's way out, lays on the cold thing. Yeah. Now that it's trying to reach a stillness from that opposite. Yeah. Then she finds that stillness. After a while, the breath gets better, but that's not the stillness we're speaking of. A stillness would be a reality where there was never any movement in it that could take it to be anything other than the reality. That's a stillness. Yeah. It allows any vibration, and that vibration will be held by stillness. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe ask each other a question. Why is what we are aware of seen to be the awareness? Yeah. So you're aware of what you call Chris, and then the head says Chris is aware. No, Chris ain't aware of shit. Chris is something that's aware of. You're not aware as Chris. You're aware of Chris. And the head says that awareness of Chris says Chris is aware. That's its logic. Yeah. There's awareness, and it says there must be a noun. So Chris is aware. Yeah. But Chris isn't aware someone's putting their hand in his back pocket and taking his wallet right now. Because Chris is aware of yesterday and tomorrow. So he can seemingly be out to lunch right now. You can be aware of that, Chris. But is Chris aware? Yeah. Or are you aware of Chris? Yeah. Now you may be aware of Chris more than anyone else you're aware of, but that doesn't make Chris aware. No matter how much awareness you are having of Chris, it will not make Chris aware. The non-existent thing is presupposed to be an existent thing. It is not an existent thing. Yeah, it's pretty nice, eh? Why not? Why would you want to try to bleach out, because the problem seems to intrude on all our solutions here. Why would you want to get I got a super bleach that will bleach out the problem from my spiritual practice? That's the problem in itself. Yeah. So this is just a simple message. Yes, you're in need of many solutions here and many problems, but the true solution is there's no one who has a solution or no one who has a problem. Yeah. You can't think that because the system thinks differently. You can't think you're a non-thing. That would be thinking as a thing that you're a non-thing. Yeah. But there's a sense, and I hope some of it gets through in this lovely little space of satsang, that you get a suspicion of a vague before that the after has never fucking seen. It's not unusual that the body has eyes in the front, yes? It's always looking, it's been dictated to go this way. So every move it takes to arrive somewhere is in a way departing somewhere else. Yeah. In this case, you can't depart from everywhere, but it can seem to be true that you are. If especially you're thinking you're moving towards everywhere. In fact, the head is using it to believe or to authorize an incredible idea that you can come out of it. Yeah. You're trying to arrive in reality, which is really based on a belief that you can leave reality. And if that belief is there, no matter how many efforts to arrive, that all those efforts are going to reinforce the mistake of you've left. Yeah. Remember I talked about it at that Australian event? Did that whole thing for 8 days called the Path of Love. It had been something else called the Miracle Love. And then Rajneesh people got it and turned it into a Path of Love. And they were very good at making up therapies and stuff. And they could induce cathartic events. And I had supposedly a big cathartic event there on like the 7th day, where I came to the incredible realization that I was never going to be able to get back to that inherent oneness, the Godhead that I had done. I didn't remember what, but it must have been a whopper that I had done something or did a lot of some things to separate myself from the Godhead. And I was moaning and crying, but I'm going to keep trying. And keep trying, keep purifying, keep mea culping. Maybe I'll finally come to not knowing the head was playing God, but whatever. And it sounded great. And then I got a lot of accolades at that event because of that recognition. And so there was an investment in there because some German girls were looking at me like, wow, I'd like to know Paul. So a couple of days later, the non-duality came in, something I knew that I didn't want to know at the moment. And it just informed me, you can never get back because you never left, Paul. That's the whole point. That's why we have the book on having never left. It was an incredible rug pulling. It just blew my mind. And I never saw those German girls again when I shared it at the after retreat. thing. So I was but it was an incredible recognition. I didn't have a grasp of it because I was still in the process, seemingly taking myself to be that which was flipping over by the rug pull. But when I landed in stillness, it told me a lot, which is, hey, isn't that the fact of all things? The reason why I can't get back is because I have never left, literally. The reason why I can't get out is because I'm not in. I hadn't run into that little logic before, but I did. And that logic played itself out for years after. Yeah, I realized, and then I realized the head is insane, literally. It has so much in the head, north is south and east is west. It's insane. It's really off. And I realized I've been trying to get out of what I'm not in, and I'm trying to get into what I'm not out of. Yeah, it's this movement. I was the figurehead. I wasn't doing it, but there was a helm, the emblem of Paul going, trying to get into something I wasn't out of and trying to get out of something I wasn't in. Now, what value has that? It's a great value when you see it.
You're saying after that experience, the head continued to do it.
Hmm?
That after that experience, the head continued to do it, but you're able to see.
Oh, yes. That's another thing. There's a lot of belief, a lot of mechanical stuff is us. And when we feel us have changed, it surprises us how little us changes. Yeah. There's an assumption that there's a lot of us. And so when us, you and I, have a big change, there's a humble expectation, erroneous, that, oh, all that stuff's going to change because that is I, and I have changed. And then it surprises the head when really none of that behavior may change. And it seems like then the head just disqualifies you and says, well, you got to practice more. You didn't get it. Yeah. But I was brought to the belief that 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 spread out sense of ownership was completely bogus. That a lot of what I called my behaviors and my actions are not mine. Yes. And so that misunderstanding had to be popped, and it was popped by thinking I had a grand understanding. That grand understanding by failing showed me it was a misunderstanding, and that's where its value was. So instead of trying to keep chopping the top of the trees off, I looked down into the roots, and they got cut there. And the misunderstandings had value because they could be seen as that, and then they dropped. And then I wasn't looking through the trees to see the forest. I saw the forest. Yes. Yeah. And that's why I believe our real success is failure in these endeavors. Yeah. So if it hasn't worked now, you can keep on trying, or you could see it as it's already succeeded. It hasn't worked. I think I'm gonna just see what. I don't know. Don't make any vow. Just say it hasn't worked, and maybe it will be extended and it ain't going to work. Yeah, and then there'll be a great saving of time, which the Course of Miracles says is one of the main points of the Course of Miracles is to save you time. Yeah, so if something hasn't worked, seemingly, maybe it doesn't work. Yeah. Instead of looking at you and thinking it doesn't work because of you. No. Well, in fact, true, but you're not that you. So this is what happened with satsang. It changed the value of understanding and everything in this life. Something like the currency that Paul lived by was totally taken over and changed. And then I felt hallelujah by all that failing instead of frustrating and constantly getting whipped to do more. Yeah. And it eventually is going to lead to a disappointment. Yeah. Why not trigger the disappointment now and have it educational? Like it has a huge amount of value to show you. Yeah. The reason why you haven't been able to arrive and stay is because you have never left. Isn't that the most soothing solution or answer you could ever hear? Isn't it the most disarming statement? Yeah. Upon having never left, I put the spiritual tools down. Upon having never left, I stopped looking. Upon having never left, I feel an ease and comfort where I used to feel incredible anxious and frustrated. On having never left. Yes. Basically, most of the relief in the world of heavy traveling and lighter traveling is based on having never left. Literally. Yeah. Yeah. You know how much interest and attention has been sent out? And when it comes back, it's just sent out again on another journey, another thing. Why not, if when it comes back, just let it sit? That's presence. Yeah. Presence is easily available because it's just undirected attention and interest. It's going if you follow interest and attention and not directed, it leads you back to its essence, which is presence. Just like if you tied a little string to a mouse and all of your conjectures, where is it, you'd find it. You would just follow the string and there would be the hole that the mouse went in. Very simple, yeah? The same thing. It's the recognition of what you're not is really the being of what you are. Yeah. Because the only way of seeing what you're not is through awareness. You cannot see what you're not through what you're not, because it's not aware. Only your nature can bring about the recognition of seeing what you're not. Most of the time, you're looking from it all day. Yeah. That attention has been co-opted and directed. But in the seeing of what you're not, that's what I am. I am here right now. The best I can describe what I am is I am the seeing, the awareness of what I'm not. There you go. Yeah. So hopefully when I see an appearance, I don't remember another appearance. I first sense the non-appearance of everything. Yeah. And then I see another appearance, and then I sense the non-appearance of everything. That non-appearance of everything is first. The appearance and the disappearance is secondary. Most of us look, and in that looking, the appearance is first, and that which is seeing is secondary. Yeah. Yeah. It's a simple hierarchy. The mental state has put a noun way in an elevated position over the verbs when there's all there is verbing. Yeah. So we are seeing everything as a doer, a feeler, a taster, a toucher. And this is the dilemma and the only dilemma. Yeah. The other shit always will work out. But if it's working out for you constantly, that's the dilemma. Yeah. Yeah. It's not a new way of doing. It's not a new way of seeing. We've done this already. They've come up with tons of new ways of seeing. Oh, now we're going to have a spiritual, like waking down or walking backwards. Yeah, great. Try it again. It's just sort of, putting lipstick on a pig or painting legs on a snake. It's still a snake and a pig, seemingly. Yeah, you can't get around it. Yeah, you're not going to get it. That's the great news. How can you see? Because you are seen to be something already, then anything else that's ever entertained is seen as a getting. Yeah. But through negation, yeah, that getting aspect gets neutered and you recognize you've never left. Yeah. That there's no getting in your future of what you already are. There is no getting of reality while being reality. Yes. There's a getting of non-reality. That's what you get. You understand what you're not, like the thing we read, you know? What's the only requirement of this recognition is to see the unreal from the real, meaning you. Whatever you're calling Rosalind or Paul, there's a reality underneath it all. Yeah, that doesn't come and go as Rosalind and Paul does. That doesn't seem to be more awake or less awake, or doesn't feel like it's closer or farther. All of that dancing is pre-described. It's pre-set up. The underlying condition hasn't changed. And you, as this event occurring, cannot understand it, cannot get it, cannot experience it. Hallelujah. Yeah. Now, does that, when you hear that, does it sound like a hallelujah? No, because the mental logic sees that as a bummer, but you're not the mental logic, and it's a hallelujah. It's a hallelujah because that which you saw so sorely miss, you have never left. Never. Never left. That which you thought was missing in your life has never been missed. As St. Francis says, what's looking is what you're looking for. That's a pretty big statement because a lot of people look for a lot of different things. And he just cut right to the chase. What's looking is what you're looking for. He didn't say who's looking. He said what's looking is what you're looking for. How the looking for looks like, it's a who in there. There's a who that's looking for. But the who is a mistaking of the what. Yeah. We take the what to be a who, and now we're looking for the what. Instead of recognizing you're not the who. It's simple, eh? Clean. Yeah. Oh, someone says is trying to send me money. Hold on. Forex match closes at 8 hours. $10 equals $40. Sounds like a solution. I'm going to get 4 times the money. All right. Well, thank you, folks. It's a beautiful day here. I had nothing to say before I sat down, but I'm forever curious about the antics of the head. You know, at this retreat they did in Australia on the 6th day, they took us out because on the 8th day we were going to have to be we put into groups and we'd have to do a show. So they took us to Walmart to buy stuff for the show, like outfits. And after being in this controlled environment, I walked into Walmart and it was so fucking empty, filled with tons of shit. But it was just so empty. The space, yet had tons of shit in it. It had a very big effect on me. That's why we have the Walmart appliance enlightenment story. Because there was every bit of space was filled, and it was I felt the most empty I had felt in quite a while, but an empty in a good way. It was very nice. The real cathedral was empty of all this shit that was appearing in it. It was cool, very cool. It was a trip they did that because we were in this enclosed 8-day thing, and then to bring us to Walmart was pretty fucking. It's heavy, heavy. So that's where I walked in the appliance section, and the toaster fell off, and I woke up. Yeah, now I can give you the address of the Walmart. And it was a sale, so you have to wait for the sale. And it was a Westinghouse toaster. Around 11 in the morning. Yeah. Go to it. Yeah. So all right. Thanks everyone. Any questions today?
Yeah, Paul, David Bitterman's got his hand up.
David Bitterman.
Come on in, Dave.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Paul, how are you?
Good.
Hopefully you, hopefully you can hear me. We're in an airport. We're just we're traveling to see
hear
some
you.
things with
I
the
can
kids.
hear
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, the other day, you were talking to someone about, and it has to do with this, like having experiences and then having the system just swallow them up, and that's, you were saying something about in the outdoor, you know, this, you said in the early days, it was coming out and going in. There was sort of being of the of, and then there was watching the in, including the whole self system. So wearing full regalia, knowing it's not the case. And, you know, when you're in the of, it was interesting. For the first time, you've talked about the shitty production values where you see some of its sleight of hand and sort of the tricks in terms of how it puts together this sense of consistency. But you were talking about the oscillation of returning to the of and coming back to the in, and returning to the of, coming back to the in. And then you had made another comment about sometimes being the paint, sometimes being the brush, sometimes being the canvas.
Yeah.
And that movement, because it seems like, you know, just like everything here, it's kind of this globular movement where part of the way it captures attention is through those shifts. You know, every time you think the ground is stable, it's shifting in a new direction, that kind of thing. And I was just wondering if you could expand on any of that a little, because there was such a, I mean, there's such an obviousness to it, and then it's wearing full regalia, and you still know it, and there's a trust, but the system still has that habitual grabbing, which you've said before, just
Yeah.
kind of dies
But
out over time.
See, there is a prior space which is not of the in or of the of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
then
yeah.
here there is the in and the of.
Ah, so okay,
Yes. But there is a non of the of, let's say.
right.
So
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
happens is you come to terms or start having acceptance in certain things in the in that you never was able to do. And then
Right.
there's some really there's of duality. So
Right.
in
That makes sense.
but there is you don't have to dive deeper, it will take you deeper. Just
Yeah, that's the feeling.
tiger's
Yeah.
mouth. You're in the tiger's mouth. The rest of the digestion has nothing to do with you. You're not the one that eats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the trigger has already been had. Rosalind or anyone here may not know it, but there's a triggering, and you're in the digestion system, and it'll be the small intestine in, the large intestine of, and you're going to be go through both, thinking one, oh, I want to stay in the of, but no, bowel movement, and then it's all shitted out, and there you go. It goes back and
That's
forth.
so funny.
In
So
and
funny.
out. Yeah, so of course we would love to have the of stabilize and override the in. That stable, that emphasizes the in, you know. So
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
yeah, if you just sit all the rocking, if the boat is still, you'll get a lot of knowledge out of the rocking of the in and of. Yes. If you just stay on the SS satsang, let's say.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
You'll
Yeah.
see that there is a larger space that doesn't have one side or the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in
And
other
it's
words,
yeah.
the panoramic and the myopic are, in a sense, both views dependent on each other. How could you call something a panoramic unless you could compare it to a myopic? Yes. And then so you recognize you're not sitting on one seat, and when you start getting comfortable in the other seat, it's pointing out you're not of that seat either. And then you just stand awkwardly, and then that's a great relaxation. The greatest
Wow.
relaxation isn't horizontal, it's vertical in this message.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Nirvana is samsara. I mean, yeah. I mean, samsara is Nirvana. Yeah.
So it's vertical. You're
Yeah.
standing straight with something. Yeah. Here at the body it would be horizontal. Yeah. I'm in dead man pose in yoga. Shit
Right.
like
On the body
that.
level. Yeah.
But this is
So
more
it's more what?
a vertical alertness.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so that's in what you're talking about too. I had heard once that Nisargadatta talked a little bit about that. And there was some confusion on students, just that the I am, there's that thing even before that, which can't be said of anything, nothing.
Yes, yeah.
About it, yeah.
They move on from the I am. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So it's, yeah, you know what, it's funny, it's you know that, and there's a trusting in it, and then I guess it's like what you say, like it's squeezing that last bit of juice out of the fruit of the system, which is watching it still grasp, watching it still. You got the display of what you're not right there in front of your eyes and the understanding. You see it, but there's just that mechanistic grasping continues on some levels until it doesn't.
Well, there's always going to be mechanism grasping. It has a bigger effect when you're trying to grasp a condition that's incomprehensible than a sandwich at the luncheonette.
Yeah.
But there's going to be mechanical grasping. You just you want to take the stars off the menu and put, like, 32 pair of jeans.
Oh, so that okay, so that grasp, so get me advice, so that grasping energy of duality is pointed towards something graspable when it's here to be
Yeah,
spent.
like I go to
Yeah.
thrift stores and I don't know what I'm even looking for, and then I find something or I don't. It's fun.
That's
Yeah.
fascinating. No, I had a friend of mine who was talking about, he's into shamanism thing. He's into a lot of different things, but he's pretty wise cat too. And he was talking about creating catharsis or embracing like the simpler problems when they show up, because you're going to go through it one way or the other. Take it in a form that's processable in a weird way. That makes any sense.
I don't know. Yeah, I just keep it simple. I feel just
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. You got a lot of time on your hands. The last thing in the world may need is you trying to save it.
Oh yeah, no. Well, what was interesting is how fast it becomes a musical piece. Like it, when you start to notice these things, it winks back at you, and it takes on its own. It can play its own music easier without you in the way.
This is a giant comedy.
Totally, yes, totally seeing that too.
So,
Yep. No, before I was kind of
that's
scratching my
laughter
head, but
about you, about yourself. That's the laughter.
no,
Because like he says, this is here and now, and then the day that you laugh about all your own efforts and things is that which is on that day is now.
yeah.
A lot of people are going to laugh themselves into recognition of the previous. It has the ability to change a news channel into a comedy channel.
Yeah, I mean it totally did, and then there's just the watching of the full regalia again. But I mean, it was, I was waiting for the belly laugh, but it was more like a calm laughter. But it was very obvious the game is up on someone.
Oh, don't worry, you're going to be a butt of a lot of jokes. Maybe not in your own head, but in someone else's head. Yes.
Well, I look forward to it.
They're using you for comedy material already.
Total, I can see it.
But the name Bitterman, it's a field day. Incredible.
Yep.
In our private
absolutely, bro. When you're following my every move and writing down the script of how you're gonna get me.
I don't have to follow you every move. It's very familiar. We're not tracking a unique animal.
Absolutely not.
It's all pretty, yeah.
Well, I really appreciate everything, Paul, and thank you for that. Just those clarifications help a little bit.
All right, bro. It's okay.
All right, man. Love
You're
you.
a lifetime
Thank you.
member, brother.
Thank you, bro.
We're all in this together, and together we can laugh. It's very healthy, I feel here. Didn't you notice when you first got involved, there was a lot of staring, loving gazes, and I just couldn't take it. Everyone, the same thing. They wouldn't come out until everyone, and they came out, and you couldn't move until they left because they're so special or whatever. Can't hug them. No, can't hug them. Someone could get electrocuted. Shit. It's just sort of, I just was tired, that's why we came up with Zen Bitch Slap. A very bad career choice. Really, seriously bad. Zen Bitch Slap. But it did what I was looking for it to do, which is just, this is why someone asked me this week about dog shit awareness. Dog shit awareness was really a counter of, the radical pure awareness and all this. Yes. You tell me, I'd like you to bring like a jeweler of awareness and tell me how many carats of this. Oh, here, I'm bringing some awarenesses. Is this radical awareness? It's wicked to tell. I can't see a difference between Any awareness, radical, maybe what it goes through, yes, here seemingly, but so I just wanted to stick fun, make fun of it. I think it needed a little levity. Yes. I mean, phew, some people had such a clenched face. They were so serious. And they just wanted to see relief, I hate when a beautiful invitation gets to become taken over by a problem. Just bothers me a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Now, yeah, I just stick with the not to of non-duality. Just constantly that recognition. It was almost like in recovery, we have a very big moment in recovery, and that is when you see your role in things. Yeah. It's a very big moment. It opens up a whole new view because the head has it completely shut down. So you're just looking at everyone else's effect on you, not realizing the influence you're having on everything. Yeah. And it's just it's an incredible aspect of a trance that makes you very curious. Like what's going on that people can be completely out to lunch and not think so. Like we have it in recovery. Most of us are extremely self-centered, but we don't think so. That's for me is incredibly curious. I'm very curious about all that. Very curious. And then when I got involved with satsang, they had, the eternal1.com, stillness speaks. How about chaos speaks, really? Stillness doesn't speak. It's chaos that speaks. Let's talk about chaos and see we're not that chaos, and then stillness will not speak. Stillness left not speaking is better, I think, than stillness speaks. Yeah, that would be us all day. We're actually stillness speaking. So yeah, that's why. So dog shit awareness, whatever. Yeah. Most of these, I have a little idea about them. It's not like Zen Bitch Slap came out of trying to get this stuff in through the resistance of an active alcoholic, where everyone at the meeting would be like this, And so we came up with the bitch slap and called it a Zen bitch slap because of, they were putting Zen in front of everything, Zen toothpaste, Zen this and that. So I said, I can slap a Zen on bitch slap. It's been so adulterated on everything else. We might as well put it on an action that actually has something to do with Zen, which is a sudden whack. Yeah. What is more than on the streets? What's a sudden whack? It's a bitch slap. That's what you would get. You're thinking you're just talking with someone, suddenly someone hits you. You got bitch slapped. That's the thing. Yes, that's when the message is sort of like that. Yeah, so everything had a little meaning. We weren't like the eternal one, and then there's like another one, the eternal one up, and then there's the eternal times three. No. So yeah. Anyone other questions?
Yeah, Paul, Michael, come on in, Michael. There you go.
Paul, how you doing?
Good.
It's Michael Wheeler.
Michael.
Good to see you, man. Open invitation. I don't really have any questions, but open invitation to come to Australia. Anytime you're welcome here, to stay here.
Yes.
With the chaos speaking, it just reminded me of a medicine journey I had a few months back, where I kind of was in these altered realities, altered dimensions, and the only way I can explain it really is if you imagine learning how to walk. I had to learn how to navigate these dimensions. So if I put it in terms of walking, you'd learn to put one footstep in front of the other. And as soon as you learned how to navigate this reality, it flipped. So all of a sudden gravity's reversed and you're on the ceiling, is a way of describing it. So then you're kind of terrified for a little bit, and then you learn to navigate that. So you take a step, a step, a step. Oh no, I can still do this, and then it flips again. Every time you got it, it flipped,
Yeah.
and so it was just complete chaos, and it should have been terrifying, but instead of being terrifying, it was funny. And then
Well,
I kind of
there you go.
morphed into,
Yeah.
I kind of morphed from there into a god that was playing this game on me. So I was playing this game on myself as a god. Like every time, like just, and there were three guys. I had two siblings, and we're just messing with the whole of, you know,
The
with
God
everyone in
had
the world.
two
We're just,
siblings. Oh, that's good.
it
That's
was
right.
so funny. And then I went from there. So we were like naughty children, just playing with everyone's life, messing it up, and just throwing chaos everywhere. And then I just morphed into this kind of beautiful place of beyond words, where it's just something almost like the parent God, if you want to put it like that. You can't really put these things into words, but it was just like, this is that was a speck of nothingness and infinity. All of those things were happening, and they're just pure, open
Yeah.
kind of peace. That just it just reminded me of that, the chaos speaking. But yeah, I'm in a good place, and thank you for all the videos you do. Like I do watch them. I woke up early enough this morning, and the notification popped up on YouTube, so I thought I'd jump on.
Oh,
But yeah, good to
fantastic.
see you again.
Oh, great. Yeah. Well, yeah. Where you live in Australia?
You've been here, Paul. You stayed with me in Mount Martha. Do you remember
I stayed
when you
with you.
came out? Yeah,
When
you and Amelia came
my
out.
doppelganger. I forget everything. Was I there?
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah.
What year?
What year was it? It was probably about uh 5 years ago,
Oh, wow.
6 years ago.
Was in Melbourne?
Yeah, Melbourne. You visited Sailor Bob,
Yeah, yeah.
and we went down the Great Ocean Road. We toured
Yeah.
the Great
Oh,
Ocean
Michael.
Road.
Yeah, you have a hat on. Yes, I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were on
Oh yeah,
at
you
beach.
don't recognize me with that hat, probably.
Yeah, I just recognized you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was lovely. Yeah. That was a lovely take. That house you had was nice. We went swimming in that little bay. Yeah. Oh yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to see you. Thanks for I didn't recognize you at the first. Now I do.
No, I
Yeah.
haven't seen you for a long time. Jumped on. It's a bit early in the morning often, but yeah, the notification popped up and I was up and I thought, "Joe, great, I'll jump on."
Oh, good, man. Well, I'm happy to see you again. And yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we'll be coming to Australia. I don't know. We'll have to see. I like Australia, so
Yeah.
I wish I could just be like hermetically sealed and suspended and then wake up in Melbourne. But the flights kill me. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hey, nice to see you, man. Thank you. Yeah.
You too, Paul. Say hello
Any
to Amelia for us. Take care, man.
yes, Celia's here. She left actually now. Oh, she's in the back. She's trucking around. Anyone else, or we'll just start saying goodbye?
That's it, Paul. No more hands.
Oh, someone has.
Mike.
Yeah, yeah. He has a question.
Okay.
Something. Yes.
Hello. So I was thinking, I mean, I don't know, whatever. I have this impression that the me sense is like that one sort of like the spearhead of the mental state, and it's like one of the stickiest things because like we believe that we're the me sense. And but since we're perceiving it like we're not
Yeah.
actually the me sense.
Yeah.
So it's not the me sense, it's the problem is the identifying with the me sense. But are we identifying as it, or is there just identifying as it?
Just identifying.
Okay, that's it.
There's just identifying. See? Yeah. There is no one. See, there's only a one in the dream of one. There's no one dreaming the one. There's only the one. The idea of you as a singular thing is a product completely of the dreaming of things. There is no thing that's dreaming of being a thing. Yeah. Other words, the radius of Rosalind and Paul are defined by the system that's projecting it. Yes. So the feeling of being a one of doing anything is only in this event. Yeah. So there's not like a super one of you that's doing the one of you. Yeah. Yeah. You're a verb without a cause. You're verbing without a noun. So you're doing and there is no doer. Seeing, no seer. Hearing, no hearer. Verb, yes. Noun, suspect. Yeah. It would be clearer if you saw the verb and then the implying of a noun. But most of us are looking from the noun at the verbs. So a step up would be seeing the noun made by the claiming of the verbs. You would travel lighter this way. This doesn't provoke, provokes a heaviness. Yeah, because now all the verbs that are noticed have been given a direction. And some of them shouldn't be coming towards you, and some should be coming towards you. Yes. So desire and aversion starts pushing away some verbs and trying to attract other verbs. And then a huge amount of meaning is given to this chaotic movement of verbing. And then it's seen from a particular view called self-centeredness. So how does all these verbs pertain to me? This is like the fulcrum of the dreaming. Yeah, this is the drain that it all goes down into and then gets recycled and then yes. So there's awareness and you can see this. You can be aware of this mental manufacturing instead of thinking you're aware as the mental manufacturing. You can see that what you are is made up. Yeah. Now, what you are trying to hold that, what you're not, I mean, trying to hold that idea, it doesn't work. Yeah. But you're not seeing it from what you're not. You're not trying to convince what you're not that it's not what you're not. Yes. You're just seeing it from awareness. And then all that meaning that was given to that idea that you were the doer and stuff, it sort of stays in the awareness. Yeah. And now how you see things dictates how you travel through them, and you see things differently. And especially this thing you see differently. Yeah. Yeah. And it triggers a traveling lighter seemingly as this thing, not being this thing. That's what I've witnessed for 30 years now. Been here, entertained this idea quite a while ago. Things fell in certain places, and a lot of misunderstandings fell as the years went by. I believe that I was somehow a doer of a lot of shit I had nothing to do with. And when anything happened to me, or there was a sudden realization of my innocent essence, it would be disqualified by nothing else changed. So therefore, it mustn't have been real. Yes. But what I was trying to change was mechanical and programmed. It was no need to change it. Just see it's not you. That didn't come right away. I learned that over time. Here, it was seen right away, obviously. But in this event, I learned it over time. And I learned a lot of understandings were misunderstandings. And then they dropped. Yeah. As the Course says, the greatest way to learn is to teach. So I was thrust in a position of sharing 34 years ago, pretty much. And so this hose has been used to conduct a lot of water. And I got a little feeling of the water, even if it was held as a hose. I got a lot of feeling of what water is like. Yes. Yeah. 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 That's why I've gone to every Paul Hedderman meeting and I've never attended one of them. That's how it works. How could you do something if every time, if you thought you were the doer, you would think that you weren't able to do it based on other conditions like being ill or this and this? I usually show up unless my legs are broken or something because it's not me showing up. I don't look at my condition to see if I'm in condition to conduct a satsang because I know it has nothing to do with me. Yeah. Do you think I'm not bored of saying the same thing thousands of times every year? Of course the head's bored with it. The head wants to go into 11th dimensional math. And let's see the 8 billion simulations going on a second. But that's not my role. My role is to be a conduit, to conduct this, and that's what I do. I show up. Yeah. I remember I thought I was supposed to, my first reaction to this and watching it affect people was I got to get better. Yeah. Words I got to, gold plate the hose and polish it and fucking do this and do that. And it was quickly told, forget that. So, yeah. And that, in my view, trying to better oneself became a disservice, literally. Yeah. The invitation to be used, I was trying to put a requirement on it. Well, I have to get ready to be used. No, it told me flat out, no, your readiness is not essential. Your willingness is essential, but your readiness isn't essential. Yeah. So somebody appointed me to do something. I went, and this is what I've been doing for 34 years. Yeah. This guy gave me that job at Fourth Step Workshop. I said, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll do it. And then this is what I've been doing for 34 years, basically. Not me, obviously, but put in this position. Yeah. And hopefully I haven't changed the topic ever, really. Pretty much. First, I talked in recovery, which it gives me, at least I have 2 shows I can do. So in one show, I can be helpful. And in the other show, it's better not to be helpful, really. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I don't know what it would be like if I would have transcended already if I didn't have Amelia or non-duality. What keeps me coming back is recovery, because I see a purpose to it there. I do. All right. Thanks, everyone. Anyone else?
No more hands, Paul.
Oh, well, hey, I hope you all have a lovely day. Yeah, and we're here as much as we can be here. And yeah, I feel there's a loving presence that expresses itself through our group conscience. And I take it as a great gift to be a part of it, really. I joke around a lot, but in one sense, I'm very serious. Yeah, I take it as a great gift and an honor to sit in the space of satsang. Very powerful to me. Okay, thank you. Chris Snap, always a pleasure to see Chris. Michael, nice to see you again. Amelia, Michael from Australia. Yep. Angelica, lovely name. Steve, lovely name. Steve in Florida. Nice to see you, bro. Raven, she's still here. That's nice. Nice to see you, Raven. Keith G, as always. And I want to thank everyone who supports this thing. A lot of them, it's through donations. A lot of them, it's service. Without Martin and Kathleen and everyone that puts the meetings on, yeah. So there's a whole lot of love going on, and I appreciate it. Yeah, all the support. Saraswati, I appreciate Saraswati. Very nice. But what a lovely impersonation. Matthew. Matthew in the UK, over a couple of years of sobriety. Hallelujah. Very nice. Marl, yes. Walking through life successfully, eh? There you go. Diona, nice to see you, honey. Getting back on your feet. Either you're at a cliff or you got a fan going on. One and the other. Got the hair blowing like a commercial. It's nice. Annette is in the wilderness. Wow. She's upstate somewhere. New York, maybe. New Jersey. That's nice. Hiram. Hey, Hiram. How are you, bro? Is this your house in New Mexico? Or are you squatting somewhere? Yeah. All right. Chris H. Nice to see you, brother. Graham, my friend from Spain. Nice to see you, Graham. Rico, always a pleasure, Rico. Yep. John in Florida. My main man down in Florida. Chris in New England area. I was in there for a flash event just Wednesday night till Friday. Chris Gilmore. Yep. He's moved from the one of those portals. Martin. He's one of the he knows how to navigate the Zen Bitch Slap quite well. Thank you. Eric, always a pleasure from Vista. Roman Mueller, my main man in Germany. Jamie, he's trying to figure out how to turn this thing on. Nice to see you, Jamie. Vlad, Portugal. Axel, Germany. I got another page. We got Jojo Silverman. Nice to see you, Jojo. Have I ever met you before?
Great Barrington, briefly, friend of Susan Jameson.
Oh, yes. Nice to see you, Jojo. Malcolm, as always, thank you for all the support over the years. And just to see your face, it's good. I like it, seeing it from afar, actually makes it better. Vlad in Portugal, my main man, there. We got Zoe in Japan. Wow. A lot of my favorite people are out of the country. We got Zoe, Vlad, we've got Roman, Keith G. I got Keith. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you soon. The schedule's the regular one now. And thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.